And the winner is Arctic Monkey!
That subscriber content, eh? That subscriber content, it just won't go away.
It might hibernate from time to time and sink back into the swamp. I think the cyclical nature of the universe in which it exists demands it adheres to some of its rules.
But it's always waiting there, just around the corner, ready to make its way into your ears and smash through the gated payment system, sounding better than ever.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Benefits such as getting ad-free episodes a week early with pre- and post-show chat relating to the monkeys, last Shadow Puppets episodes, bonus podcasts, watch-alongs, plus helping us improve our sound with better equipment and services.
Yeah, this podcast seems like it's fading away sometimes, but with subscribers, it will never die. Thank you very much for listening. We do truly appreciate it. Don't take that the wrong way.
Yeah, we'll invoice you for the subscription if we need to.
We're Arctic Monkeys. This is Don't Believe the Hype.
That rock and roll, eh? Ladies! That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question. Cheers, dude. That man just yawned. What do we call it,
Don't Believe the Hype.
Oh, we've just been having some japes in the green room. Ooh, that was wild. Hello and welcome to Don't Believe the Hype, your weekly podcast looking back at the discography of Arctic Monkeys. Yes, you know the drill. Every week we pick a song, not at random, chronologically, because why would you do it any other way? That'd be weird. With me, Nick, and holding a token swollen inside. Well, he always bloody is. That's how I ended up on that list. It's Dan. Hello, Dan.
Hello, how are you?
Fantastic, very good. Some good fun in the subscriber chat this week. I mean, there always is, but
Yeah,
we had a good old
there
laugh
was
there.
police raids, hip hop album reviews.
Not related.
Not related. Not related. Yeah, unusually. And and riddles, I suppose, at the end there, wasn't there? A few riddles. But
Riddle me do,
but yeah,
riddle
there
me
was
do.
a few.
Indeed.
There was a few. Yeah, we did a review because of our new feature on there for subscribers. We do a random generated album every week. Doesn't matter what the genre is. We'll listen to it and we'll give it a review. You can listen to it during the week. We'll review it and have a chat about it. And this week it was MF Doom album Mad Villainy from 2004, which was a very, very interesting hip hop album. So we gave that a review. If they wanted to subscribe, where could they do that?
Well, if they're listening right, then they'll have heard the trailer at the top of the show. But failing that, go into the episode description. You can find all our links to all our social media platforms and everywhere where you can listen to this. But you can also find links to our Patreon where you can subscribe on there, or you can subscribe through Spotify as well. You can subscribe through Apple Podcasts, but we'd rather you didn't, because just shit on there.
Well, no, I wish someone would, because I have to specifically upload subscriber content to that every week, and it's a pain in the ass, to be honest, just for no one to listen to it. So please,
if you're on Patreon, not Spotify, cancel it and go over to Apple Podcasts. Please, no, don't. But if you knew and you got subscribed, think about doing an Apple Podcast if you like.
If Apple Podcasts is the platform that you use to listen to it, then yes, do it. But don't go out your way. If you use Spotify, just subscribe on the platform that you use to listen to the podcast. Or if you prefer to use Patreon, do that. Up to you.
Yeah.
Up to you.
Yeah,
Up to you. It's all up to you. So, but exciting because tonight is a it's not a Arctic Monkeys classic, but it's an underrated tune. Would you say? Oh, it's not underrated by the band because they still pull it out, unlike the songs from the last couple of weeks. So.
Well, that's it. It was deemed good enough to make a comeback very early on in the Car tour. But although as soon as they had songs from the Car ready to play, it went again. So yeah,
that is true. Well, no, because maybe it's just they get more. Oh, that is true. What do you think? Are you calling it a stopgap? You calling it a filler while they found how to do the songs from the Car live?
Not to me, it's not, baby.
No, I'd love this to come back in the set. This would be one of my dream ones to come back in the set. But no, really cool tune that just gets overlooked, I guess, by fans. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Not that again. Maybe not the people that listen to this podcast, but I don't know. Do you think, I don't know how people feel about it, but I always loved it. I always thought it was just a really cool song. As we'll get into, but shall we listen to it then? I'm interested to see what you've got. What version you've got for this, actually. I'm intrigued.
I like how I can. I love this. I love this how you get excited to see what version, and then one day it's just going to be me with like a battered acoustic guitar, like wailing into the screen. 1 week just to surprise you.
If you are going to do that, can you do that when we cover Perfect Sense? Just so then at least I can get out and never have to see you again.
Yeah, I'll do it when we cover the song. Won't know the difference. Yay!
Oh, shots fired, Alex. Shots fired. we fired shots at him in the pre-show chat, but we recanted them pretty quickly, didn't we?
Yeah.
So
I mean, much like skirting boards, I assume it's there for a reason. So it's fine. Just leave them be. Just as long as it don't come back for the next tour, it's all right. Fine. Right. Let's see what clip I've chosen.
The solo. You love the solo in the car songs, so.
Yeah, but we can't just have Tom Rowley come out to play the car. They should do. Well, the rest of the band are like changing guitars and stuff. They should just have Tom Rowley come out and play the solo.
You can come on and warm the crowd up before the rest of the band come out.
Yeah, they should do that. I don't know why bands don't do that. It's probably what the support act's for, isn't it? Thinking about it. Wheels within wheels.
This ego mechanic, she's always trying to give me vitamins. Oh, she'd be frightened of your reflection. I prefer it as a cartoon. If I could be someone else for the week, I'd spend it chasing after you. Cause she's not chanting my attitudes. No matter how she folds the potion, yours is the only ocean swing from. Yours is the only ocean that I wanna hang on to. And I'm swinging on. Yours is the only ocean. Yours is the only ocean. Yours is the only ocean. Yours is the only ocean.
Now, I think that's the format they should have followed for the My Propeller video. If the My Propeller video had been taken from that performance that they did, it's live, it's on the Domino YouTube channel, then it would have been a lot better, and we wouldn't be slagging off the video for My Propeller.
That's true. That's true.
And it would have kept with the theme of having a live performance on the video, as he did with both Dance Floor and Teddy Picker.
And didn't do with Does Brick by Brick count as the first video from Suck It and See? Because
Nah,
technically,
no,
Brick
I'm
by
not having
Brick's the
that.
first song from Suck It and See. It is, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it just
I'm
dropped
not having
early?
that as a. The video was just a record spinning on a
Was
player
Don't Sit
playing
Down
it.
the first single from Suck It and See?
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guess we'll find out next season. But yeah, I
We
don't
will.
know. Yeah, but I mean, I've given up on the videos of this album. Apart from the next one, obviously, coming. But you know. but yeah, the first two were lackluster, so what can you say? But no, yeah, really good performance of that. I do love this song when it changes. That's the bit when I really get like
so cool.
I mean, I love it all, but yeah, it's really cool, really proper stoner. But hey, let's not talk about the music too soon because we've got some information on the song to get through first, haven't we?
We do indeed.
Usually.
Information action ratio. Ain't that the place to go?
Potion Approaching, originally known as Go Kart, is 3 minutes and 32 seconds long, and it has 27.8 million streams on Spotify. So it's one of the least streamed songs on the album. Not the least stream, but one of. So maybe that would imply that this is undervalued in the catalogue by the fans if it's only getting those kind of numbers. Because I don't understand why though. I don't know what it is. I think from the vibe I got a lot of the time was that maybe people felt it was a bit out there. But I think now listening to it now, it isn't actually that out there at all, really. It was just out there
really
for
not.
them at the time, but it's really not out there at all, is it? But yeah, I don't know if people felt that, but there you go. It is 104 beats per minute and is in the key of E minor. They love a minor on this album, don't they? That's all we've had. We've had one major. 1 out of 5 majors. So come back to the next week to see if the second half of this album changes that tact.
So it's very much a case of 4 minors out of 5.
Very good. 4 minors out of 5 will be touched by it. No, I'm joking. The song has been played live 150. The song has been played live 150 times by the band. Firstly, on January 13th, 2009, at the Wellington Town Hall, Wellington, and lastly on August. Did you? I think they also debuted "Crying Lightning" or "Dangerous Animals."
I think there's 2 or 3 songs that they debuted, but yeah, on the track listing it said "Go Kart" for this song at the time.
Very good. I think you might have shown me that actually. Now I think about it.
Yeah,
so it rings a bell.
I used to,
You want a CD with Go Kart on it? Yeah. And it was last played on August 27th, 2023 at the United Center, Chicago. So that was after some of the car songs came back. So it wasn't a case of them just spinning it off after the yeah. That's your theory, dead and buried. So another,
I think it's one of the ones that was rotated with Suck It and See and Cornerstone, wasn't it? Because they dropped out a few times to make way for others. So I think it was one of those that been out.
Yeah, and it was one of our kind of but it's the first one since Crying Lightning that's made it out of the Humbug tour as well, because only 3 of them have so far on this album made it out of the tour. I wonder which album will have the least songs that have made it out of the tour. I fear that it's Suck It and See. I
think it is
my health that it's Suck It and See that has the least amount of songs that made it out of the tour, but we shall see. We shall see.
So
Nick, it's that time of the week again. Okay. Interesting. Oh, with Tranquility. So Nick, are you going for a hum a Ford, hummy Ford, Fordy hummy Ford, hummy fummy, hubba fubba, hummy fum papa.
It's hum.
What do I?
I'm going home.
It's hummy, correct? It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's done. Yeah,
I'm feeling not be.
Although I would have thought My Propeller wasn't. So you never know. There could be a fly in the ointment.
Well, there will be.
According to take this next sentence with a pinch of salt, but according to the Sun newspaper, sorry, Scousers.
Okay,
sorry,
I'm
Miles.
already not listening.
Yeah. So it's probably this probably isn't true for international listeners, but according to the Sun newspaper, the song was inspired by Alex Turner's beloved Mini car, one Wellington Audience member said, so someone at that gig, they played 4 new songs. Everyone was rather surprised by one called Go Kart. A pal of Alex was saying, so there's apparently a pal of Alex in the crowd next to the person who's there. A pal of Alex was saying it was inspired by the love of his life, is Mini Cooper called Floyd. Oh, not his Mini Cooper, he's got an old Mini. I've never seen a picture of Alex with a Mini, but I'll believe that he had one. I don't think I've ever seen evidence
I've never
of that.
seen a picture of him driving a car until the music
No,
video.
I've seen a picture of his driving license. That's it. Never seen him talk about a Mini. Never heard of Mini. And nothing in the lyrics suggests that this was inspired by a car, other the fact that he says "go kart" at the end and references a mechanic,
which is not a car.
I think, which is not a car,
completely different to a car.
Well, we can discuss that later. But yeah, that I just think that sounds like absolute tribe, and the fact that their source is someone at the Wellington gig who when they played it was just happened to be stood near one of Alex's friends who knew the story behind the song seems a bit like shite.
I mean
what a bizarre thing to.
We should never believe anything that's in the Sun, particularly when it's caveated with a pal said. An unnamed pal said, "It's like, well,
yeah, exactly.
That's just how they get away with publishing what they want."
Why is that allowed? Why isn't there a law that says no? You can't just say that. You have to give actual, like serious journalists do. So I don't know why they get away with it. Anyone can say that, can't they? An unnamed source said.
It's not technically a newspaper.
And then you just tarnished with it, but it is not. Yeah, that's true. It is an odd lie, isn't it? But there you go. They had to
so we're that
correct
desperate
some
for an
stories,
Arctic Monkey scoop. Yeah, he'd not had an affair.
Well, I always remember that.
We need to publish something.
But the guy who did the entertainment bit, Gordon Smart, was it, or something like that?
Gordon Smart, yeah.
He absolutely hated Arctic Monkeys. I remember their personalities. I'd always read that his bit of the Sun, like just perusing it for like stupid stories, and he in the Morrison's canteen, and he always used to slag them off. But so I reckon they turned him down for an interview or something like that, and he was bitter because he just always made a point of miserable little type would have come from him probably.
I would imagine, given that Alex is a Sheffield Wednesday fan, Hillsborough is not going to be getting interviewed by the Sun. I'd say.
Yeah, probably poor form.
Although even with
also,
I don't think they'd be interviewed by the Sun.
No, I don't think.
Given how choosy we know they are. You know who was the showbiz editor of the Sun before Gordon Smart? Do you know who it was before Gordon Smart who did that column? It was Dan Wotton. No, would have been better.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Dan Wotton, yeah.
Oh no, it might have been. No, do you know what? It might have been Dan Wotton that had.
It would have been at that time.
Actually, it would have been because it's his. It's his, I remember his picture. Yes, it wasn't Gordon Smart. I apologize. I don't need to apologize.
He's a cunt as well.
Yeah. Dan Wotton. Yeah, it was him. Yeah, he really used to lay into them and hate them, but you could tell it came from a place of bitterness because he must have been turned down by them or something like that. Like how Piers Morgan treats Meghan Markle, basically, is what it was.
And there you have the career of Dan Wotton summed up in about a minute. Well done, everyone. Cheers.
Yeah. They're touring globally stadiums. He's hosting a shit show on GB News. So there you go.
In fact, he's not even doing that because he's basically waiting to be arrested by this point.
Oh yeah, he's that one, isn't he? Oh yeah,
he's essentially waiting to be arrested for like coercing people into sex and blackmailing them and all sorts of dodgy stuff. Yeah, taking money from Russia. God knows what else.
What a nice fella. Do you want some? Want to hear about some gear? Dan Wotton's probably been involved in that.
Been on it.
Technological advances really blooming get me in the mood.
Oh, fuck Dan Wotton. Go on.
Well, what?
Just fuck Dan Wotton.
What did you say?
It just makes me so angry.
I thought you said fuck Elton. I was like, what's Elton done while you were playing that clip? Just with this one, apparently, if you it's a bit of a harsh overdrive throughout the song, so you can either use with a clean boost during the breakdown. It's a harsh overdrive, but a clean boost during the breakdown. Jamie uses a full tone OCD drive and a Zvek Super Duper 2-in-1. And I also saw a pedal recommended to get the sound from this to be a Zoom G2 1.1 NU. And for the bass, you can crank the amp boost or use a clean boost pedal. Or if you want a boost that adds some dirt, the TC Spark booster may be a better fit. So if you want some dirt on your bass, which I would suggest is all about Nick at this point, then use that. But yeah, that's it.
Excellent.
That's it for this one. Oh, yeah.
Well, that
you know,
that
not
leads
bad.
me on. While we're discussing the gear and in particular the guitar tone, that leads me on to my hot take because I think this is the best time of the show.
Hot take now. Hot take's always at the end.
Not your hot takes at the end. My hot takes, wherever the fuck I want my hot takes to go, baby.
No, there's no what. Should it go before the reviews though? Think about your answer to this question carefully. The whole rest of the show hinges on this.
Okay. Reviews then. Reviews.
Right. Yeah. Right. This is why we have a format. Oh, sorry. Yes. So Pitchfork said, "Potion approaching threatens to turn into a cover of Nirvana's Very Ape on its opening riff," which is a great take, by the way, because it does sound a lot like Very Ape, like almost
not as good as the take I had.
The same.
Yeah, still good.
Yeah, I know it's a very good take, but the band instead probably killed your take, I'd say. But the band instead opts for Zeppelinish start-stop passages. Hey, you can put it where you want, but does it make sense for the reviews? No.
Is that what you wrote in Vicky's Valentine's card?
Didn't get one. Pitchfork said, "Potion approaching threatens to turn into a cover of Nirvana's Very Ape on its opening riff, but the band instead opts for Zeppelinish start-stop passages that read like Achilles' Last Stand, recast as a Britpop tune before it shifts completely into a seesawing, mildly psychedelic midsection." NME put this at number 63. I don't want to judge them too much because when we have to sit down and do this list, am I going to be finding myself having to put Potion approaching? But lower than mid, or no, around mid because it's 120. So middle, I think it's higher than I think in my list it'll higher than middle because it's got. But then I don't know when you sit down and you go, oh god, with all the B-sides as well, maybe it's going to be harder
50
to
at least. But I'm going to be saying that
craft
every week,
that.
I think.
Yeah. But they put it at number 63 and they said this sprawling stoner rock jam is hypnotic enough that one can leave you feeling like you've tripped into a surreal film scene. Turner's smoky vocal sounds so close as if he is lurking in the near distance, while the brisk tempo changes are spine-tingling enough to soundtrack that moment in a horror film where the car won't start and the villain approaches. I disagree with that. I can't imagine really. Whatever, enemy.
Got a word count there. We got a word count and needed to reach it.
Are we doing the music or are you doing your hot take now?
My hot take fits in with the music. Have you got a hot take for the end?
I haven't got a hot take for the end today now.
Right, we'll save it for the end then.
I
just didn't want us to be doing two hot takes together because that'd be awkward. That'd be weird.
Oh, okay.
But,
no. I've had a hot take so far on this album, but this song didn't summon me a hot take. Didn't summon me a hot take. That makes sense. I've said it twice. It made less sense the second time, I think.
Yeah. First time I got you. Second time I was left thinking, what are you on about? He's lost it.
The music for this one, then, very cool opening sound and guitar, proper dirty. I'd say mechanically so. Mechanically dirty, that kind of like down. Always reminded me a little bit of a car starting, like trying to get your car started. That which is interesting. Yeah, maybe it is about his car. Then. Maybe it's about a Mini. Alex was in his Mini going, and he went, and Helders was he's going, Helders was like drum beat on the dashboard going. Jamie was going. Jamie was whistling next to him going. Nick was just at the shops probably buying everyone a Lucozade.
Yeah, banana Nesquik and Lucozade and probably some Starburst.
What a mix. But yeah, satisfyingly mechanical is how I would see this. Nice drums and bass accompaniment to it.
That's how I describe
well,
my
this-
lovemaking technique as well.
Satisfyingly mechanical. But if it's anything like the show, you won't stick to a format, so I find that hard to believe. I do like the drums and bass on this. They're a nice accompaniment, but do you reckon it started on the bass again, or do you reckon it was a beat, or do you reckon this was just straight on guitars?
I was thinking about this, and I like to think that Nick was just messing around on his bass while they were all getting ready for rehearsals, and that's where it came from. That's what.
Well,
I
he
like
was
to
just
imagine.
like, dum, dum,
Just doing his warm up
dum, dum,
exercises. You know how
dum,
like
dum,
the
dum, and Hell just was
opening
like,
riff of yeah, and then it just came from there. Then Alex walks in, he's like, "Don't stop, don't stop!" Like the opening riff to "Sweet Child of Mine" by Guns N' Roses. That was Slash doing his finger warm ups, and Axl Rose was basically like, "Well, given there's no more ideas coming from my head, we might as well use that." That's what Axl Rose said. I'd imagine.
when he bothered to get up. I reckon ever since Helder's said, or ever since Alex and Helder said that they get a lot of the they sort of start with beats, and Helder's having to remember different beats they haven't used and stuff like that. That makes me feel like a lot of the songs start with a drum beat and then a bass obviously next, and then that sort of brings the guitar in. Is how it feels. It happens. Apart from other ones that'll be like, I think the more melodic ones comes just from Alex, and then but these kind of ones come from bass and drums as a starting point, I reckon, because it's not because Jamie's input is more sort of coming in with the bits that make the song great. So you couldn't start a song with Jamie's bits. You couldn't come in going, I've got this bit where I go do 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 do. And that'll be a song. So that's something you come up with once you've heard the bass and the drums. So I reckon very much Nick. Well, I mean, that's how your mind started, and that's all you need to know, because what a bass riff. What a guitar riff, but what a bass riff. But yeah, and then little change up in the middle of the verse. Usual kind of Monkeys change up affair. It's classic Monkeys, but dirtier.
Yeah.
Grimier in the desert with Josh on.
Possibly the
pulling the
dirtiest
strings.
change up yet.
Dangerous Animal. No, you're probably right. It probably is actually. This is Dirty in the Dangerous
I
Animals.
think it's just yeah. It's close.
Do you prefer this to Dangerous Animals? In the fight, well, halfway through the album, do you prefer it to Dangerous Animals?
You do, yeah.
I do and I don't. It's hard. I do and I don't. I do and I don't. I'll have to see at the end when I do it, obviously, but I don't know where it would rank out of the 5, but it would be near the top, certainly, I think. But then last week was a real big revelation, like just remembering how good Secret Door was. So it's all going to be. This might be the most difficult ordering yet. I don't even have a straight up number 1 yet. I know you do, but I don't have a straight up number 1.
Well, I don't have number 1 aside from that, to be honest.
So you're number 2.
I've still got to come up with my number 2 through. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah,
yeah, you're number 2. Yeah,
I might catch on.
I want to come up with something that's my favorite song, but not my number 1 favorite song. Okay, so your second favorite song. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be yet. I suspect it's going to come on the second half of the album now. I suspect.
You think?
I have my theories. I think there might be 1 or 2 that are going to edge their way in there, but we'll see. We shall find out in the coming weeks, I guess. Catchy beat, this first verse. I think that bass is catchy, and that guitar, that is it's an earworm. Not your typical pop song. I think, and that was something else that John Kennedy said, wasn't it? Or something at one point, like about, was it Crying Lightning or something like that? Or Zayn said it. It wasn't like, it wasn't a typical. No, it was John Kennedy. It wasn't a. It is a pop tune, or like a sort of pop rock tune or whatever that's catchy, but it isn't your atypical version of that. And that's how I feel about this one as well. Then we slip into a chorus intermittent little solo bits here from Jamie, I assume. It's like they're like sort of but sort of strumming as well. That kind of, again, that to with a sort of similar grimy guitar to the opening, that sound from the opening, but just a little bit more subdued maybe. But yeah, I guess they're kind of like so, but I guess they're just accompaniments, but just little bits he does here. And the drums in this as well. Not one of his standouts, this song, Helders, I'd say. But very fierce chorus, this from drums and guitar. That kind of like dum, 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 dum,
particularly watching that live version earlier, it gives you I often find that with the live version, particularly in this era, they give you a newfound appreciation for some of the work, because there's so much going on in terms of guitars and bass on this album that it is easy to forget some of the work that Helders is doing. Oh yeah, he's on top form, isn't he? And again, the sign of a good drummer, like knowing how to modify himself based on what he's playing with. He just surpasses himself once again.
Although standout bits on this album that everyone probably remembers, such as Dance Little Liar and Dangerous Animals and stuff, isn't there, as well? There are some standout things that everyone remembers on this album as well. But yeah, then the second verse, just a proper cool lead guitar sound, proper stoner rock, desert rock, Queens of the Stone Age sound. I know I said that, I think I said Dangerous Animals was the most Queens of the Stone Age sounding on the album, but this gives it a good run for its money, I reckon.
This is all going to further my hot take. So keep going. Okay. This is giving me new confidence in my hot take for later.
I was doing some cardio workouts before, and I cranked up Songs for the Deaf on the old. It's pretty loud because someone above me is having a new bathroom fitted this week, so it's drilling, hammering all day. So I thought, fuck you. So I turned it up like full and just selfish. So I thought, fuck you, I'm going to turn it up. So I had the music on full. Well, it is anything that interferes with my life is selfish.
Yes,
and then I cranked it up, but I could hear Humbug all over it, and I could hear this lead guitar that Jamie's. Is it Jamie? Do you think that's doing the sort of lead on this one? Then
I think so. Yeah.
Is it Alex? Are the Jamie Cook specials, or are the Alex's? Because I know that Alex used to take his guitar off for this one on the Humbug tour.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure.
You done the clip we watched before, and
doing.
Then actually, might have been Alex, because I'll tell you for why. I went and found the video of him playing it on the car tour in Istanbul, I think it was. And Tom Rowley was playing the lead bits, which, if we're going by the normal rule, he normally plays Alex's bits.
Yes. Well, that makes sense. Because I wouldn't really class them as Jamie Cook specials. I would class them as it's different. There's more like, they're not kind of these intermittent little jangly bits that he does. They're more like just playing kind of like a bit brick by brick actually as well. Well, the kind of the
I think they've got more in common with some of the solos that Alex plays, like sonically.
Yes,
I think they've got more in common with, like, I have to get Sonic in. I have to get it in.
Sound like the AI again
every week. I need to say sonically. I need to. That's become a new word now.
It's funny you should say that, because whenever I import this in for the prompt I give the AI for it, they sometimes slip Sonic in, but at the start of the intro it always tries to suggest a title for the podcast, and the name it always tries to suggest is Sonic Soundscapes is the title of the podcast. So there you go. Further proof that you are in fact an AI bot that I've created.
I knew I'd get rumbled.
But yeah, I think Alex as well. I don't think we can give Jamie the credit, but we can give him the credit for the cool opening guitar and stuff, that and stuff. So
which is the meat of the song,
Yeah. second chorus, then the build up, very clinical again, same as the first chorus, but that lead guitar as well, so cool is the only word. Just that, yeah, just really like it just sounds more so than any on the album. It does just sound like that desert rock sort of cool stoner vibe, doesn't it? The song is made by someone high. There's only that explanation. Nobody made this song sober. Or at least getting high.
It kind of shows that it's the fact it sounds so natural to them as well. It shows that it's not contrived. You know, sometimes bands will go into the studio and say, "Oh, we want to do this type of album," and then you listen to it and it sounds like they've done that. But this is just completely organic. They've just like let the vibe swallow up and just done whatever feels natural. It comes across so well.
Well, I always feel like that's because like they sent demos to Josh Homme. I don't know what all the songs were on there, but I know Dance Little Liar was one. So I feel like they were already in that mold, and then he's just kind of taken it and ran with it as well. So they didn't go out going, you know, oh let's make a Josh Homme album. They've done their own sort of thing with it. So they already had that in mind. But yeah, I do love it. That bit as it builds into the solo, it just makes you like want to close your eyes and pretend you're playing it. I'm always like, but I do love it when it drops to just the guitar before the breakdown, when it that kind of like the that is such an artistic thing to do. You know, it reminds me of a lot of. It reminds me of the stop to just guitar and leave for the lights come on. That just goes in that that stopgap, but this is like the grown up version of that, the Dirty Desert version of that. It's the way at the bottom when it slows down, it just like and the lead goes. Oh yeah, so cool. It is just proper cool. It's proper like stoned in a rehearsal room. You come up with this and everyone's like, oh wow, this is the best thing I've ever heard.
It's the best thing ever.
it just links into maybe one of the most stoned sounds I've ever heard, to be honest with you. Like if they weren't high when they recorded it, it was because they were getting high every night or something that they wrote it. I don't know, even if they had the riff before they went to the desert, this is probably one of the ones that was most influenced by the setting, I reckon, and where they were. It's got to be. Yeah. I mean, this actually reminds me a lot of the kind of slower Queens of the Stone Age stuff that they did on it's not Era Vulgus, is it? The one that Alex appeared on, that album. They did a lot of slower one. You know that one that's like If I Had a Tail, the one that Alex sings on at the end.
That's the one,
it kind of reminds me of that kind of slower stoner rock that's a bit more like it's not as fast as some of the other stuff, but just as dirty. But yeah, I love this bit. This is one of the best bits on the album, I think. This
really
that breakdown into this.
When we come to musical moment in the wrap up, that's going to be right up there. It's going to be a strong contender, I think.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of good stuff to come.
Pretty Visitors.
I didn't think of Pretty Visitors. I was thinking of Dance Little Liar then. But yeah, fuck yeah. And there's a bass bit I love in Jeweler's Hands as well, which is one of my favorite bits on the album. Which you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Vaguely sexual there.
Like Jeweler's Hands. The lead is smooth and catchy. The other guitar just sort of stumbles along with this catchy but repetitive beat along with the drums as well. Again, no one's like It's just effortlessly cool. There's no particular standout member of the band, I think, in this song or this bit. They're just working as a tight unit. I think we've said that before on songs like it might have been If You Were There Beware or something like that, where we're just like, it's just a really tight song and nobody's like, oh, Certain Romance even back in the day. Like there's no like standout instrument in it. Everybody's at the top of the game, and this just feels like that. It's just like a tight band song. Nobody's like showing up anything. Like normally, Dangerous Animals, you go, oh well, yeah, Helders, wow, what a breakdown or whatever. But yeah, this doesn't have that. It's just a really good song. And we get a little drum interlude, and in a very Arctic's sketch heady style way, the guitar just picks back up again into the faster note. So we've got the kind of slowed out on the and then we've got the drums kind of go do an interlude, and then just he just goes what is it? He just kind of goes doing back again, doesn't it? And they all come back in at the song, which is hard to do, I imagine, to go slow and then like just in a couple of beats go back to the faster riff is pretty cool. To play the song out. And also in this bit when it comes back in, Helders does let himself loose a bit of a couple of flourishes here before Alex starts singing in this sort of
himself,
maybe 3-4 second bit. He just sort of like around the drum kit like he's been keeping it controlled for the whole song. He's like, right, this one doesn't need me to be too flashy, just good drumming, good steady song. And then he's just like, nah, yeah, let's do it. Which is something actually that a lot of those bands tend to do. Like Queens of Sinners do that a lot, where there'll be like a row of songs where the drumming's amazing on Songs for the Deaf, but nothing like that you'd go, oh yeah, that's a really good drum bit. But then they'll just do a bit where the drummer just fucking goes insane and just does like an amazing bit. But yeah, really cool end to the song. It's as cool. Do you think this is the cool? Well, I've got a hot take now, but I won't throw it in because you've got a hot take. I'll just say it now rather than it being a hot take. But coolest, is this potentially? All right, we can't say after this because we've still got AM to come, which is possibly one of the coolest albums ever made. But up till now, is this the coolest song Arctic Monkeys have ever done? Nothing on the first album is cooler than this. I think we could agree on that.
Yeah, agreed. And yeah, Favourite Was Nightmare, same. Yes, I am agreeing wholeheartedly with you.
This is the coolest song they've done. Up until I know it gets a bad rep now because it's sort of played so much and used so much. But do I want to know when you first heard it? It was probably one of the coolest things you'd ever heard. So
it was, yeah. Then I got exhausted.
So, but up to this point, I'm putting the marker down. Up until this point in the album, even. No, could we give this the marker of the coolest song on the album? Is that fair?
Yes, I'm just thinking forward, and
that doesn't mean it's the best. It doesn't mean anything. It just means this song makes me go, that is fucking cool. Yeah. This just makes me go, that is.
I think we've agreed.
That is the coolest. Yeah, it's just got this. It's the pure definition of cool. You can't even say what it is. It's just cool. No one could say otherwise. So, anything else to say on the music?
No.
I mean,
I'll save it for the designated hot take time.
Okay, if you want to, you can do it now. It's up to you. But we there isn't a lot to say about the music on this because there's not loads of sort of there's it's a lot of the same riffs and stuff. The leads really the sort of stand out, I guess, if there was one. But so there isn't loads to say about the music. It's just perfectly cool, tight song. That's pure desert rock. But shall we do the part of the show where we talk about who we might want to cover this song? I think we have a jingle for that.
Yes, we do.
I'm gonna form a covers band and all.
Who are you going for then?
Okay, bit of a weird one, maybe, but I couldn't quite get anywhere going with this because the obvious one is Queens of the Stone Age again, because like this and Dangerous Animals would be great with Josh Homme kind of doing it. But for some reason, when I was doing the lyrics part of this, and I was kind of doing trying to think who would maybe I like to maybe hear singing it more than the music per se, and I couldn't get out of my head the Strokes and Julian Casablancas, like him going like in his tone, going, "She's always trying to give me vitamins," like in his voice, like
That's exactly who
she'd
I was
be
going to say.
frightened
Purely
of
'cause of the
your
vocals as well.
reflection. Yeah, there's just something
Genuinely,
about
like,
the way
yeah.
he sings, like either I prefer her as a cadu. Like, I can't do his voice. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing now. It's fucking crooning.
No, clearly, yeah.
But yeah, if people are just trying to imagine. And by the way, I did look up the AI sort of to create music, and the only kind of programs are like sort of pay like a tenner a month or something like that. And we could use the subscriber money for that, but I feel like the subscribers there's better things for us to spend subscriber money on for the show than an AI program.
Yeah.
I think that I'll let us know if you
Hookers
think
and
that
blow.
isn't the case. Then
Namely.
then yeah. Because I suppose we would only need to do it for so many weeks of the year. But no, if anyone knows any other programs, but the ones I could see were all like pay monthly subscriptions, and as good as they'd be, I don't know how much they'd add to the show. I guess it would be interesting. Maybe we'll discuss it. But to put in like, yeah, just Julian Casablanca singing Potion Approaching by Arctic Monkeys and hearing it, I guess would be cool.
Or maybe we should find a Strokes tribute band and say, yeah, lads, here's a
Or
tenner.
maybe we just have a bonus episode at the end of the series where we do the wrap-ups where we do them all, and we just pay for it for that 1 month and get them all created up to this point, and then blast them out. That could be a good episode, couldn't it? It'd be a very good episode, actually.
Very good episode, yeah.
Yeah. So
after seeing the Libertines' reaction to Homer Simpson singing "Don't Look Back into the Sun" this week, I've become obsessed with that whole idea now.
Yeah, well, I would like to hear some of them that we've said, actually. So is that yours then, or Julius, or did you have another one?
As well, purely vocally as well, same as you.
But in the same way, vocally, I would really like to hear
Queens of the Stone Age again.
Yeah, although I guess you could kind of do a Strokes version of this, like a kind of it's kind of like Miles again. Then whenever, okay, I guess you can do a Strokes version of this. I get like I don't know, it'd be like kind of like down, 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 down,
it could easily fit as a Strokes song.
I was right in the time zone, and I was in the back of my mud street. Actually, you know who'd do a good cover of this? Because I think he sounds a lot like Julius Casablancas. Carl Barrett. Now you brought up the Libertines. Wouldn't mind hearing a Libertines version of this as well, with Carl Barrett singing. Because I always think whenever I hear Carl Barrett's voice, he sounds a lot like Julius Casablancas at times.
Without a doubt, yeah, it does.
Yeah, which is
really
probably for a reason. But yeah, so I would hear that as well. But yeah, Queens of the Stone Age, hearing Josh Homme lyrically doing this one as well, you can imagine him in his voice kind of doing that, like, I got this ego mechanic. She was trying to give me vitamins. Yeah.
And then he kicks a photographer.
Right, lyrics. Lyrics. This one. Actually, before we do lyrics, Alex is singing. He's sort of rapping in the verses, and then in the stoner bit, he's doing more of a kind of like, it's more of a kind of, I don't know. He's singing it more, I guess, in the stoner bit. Like it's like potion approaching.
I still think though this is closer to.
He's singing a bit like Josh Homme in that stoner bit.
I was going to say, he did that, yeah. I think this is still closer to later Alex than previous Alex. So
as the famous,
that it's moving that way.
As the famous quote goes from who I can't remember, if Arctic Monkeys had never stepped foot onto the desert with Josh Homme, then we never could have had AM. And I do truly believe that that's a
Oh,
fact.
absolutely.
So a lot of this
Absolutely.
does inform what is to come. And yeah, his singing on this does sound like more of what we'll get. Let's just look at and see, because that's kind of like this weird in between. But the more, that's where he goes like sort of very melodic sounding. But then yeah, AM perhaps. Yes, but you can't pin the man down. He changes. What can you say? Good BVs on this as well.
Very good.
Yeah.
BVs. Very good.
The owl BVs, as I like to call them. Helder's impersonating an owl.
The old Roy Hodgson getting involved.
very, very deserty. The sound of this backing vocals, I think. And that noises you hear in the desert, and then the kind of don't they do the pushing, approaching? Yeah. At the end, yeah. Very good BVs. Well done, Helders. And Nick, probably. Jamie, probably not. Hopefully
Yes, and Nick.
not. Actually,
Truck
just
boy.
is there any? Let's have a look. Is there any? And we got a contentious point with these lyrics, by the way, tonight, Nick. Not contentious between us, but something to discuss. But have we got any BVs? They don't really. Backing vocals by John Ashton and 1 and 2. They don't go into the backing tracks of the band on here. They just kind of do music about Arctic Monkeys, just cover them all. You're all getting paid.
Right. Well, in that case, according to Wikipedia, Alex Turner does some backing vocals on tracks 3 to 6 and 8 to 10.
That's good of him.
And yes, it's Nick O'Malley and Matthew Helders on backing vocals.
No Josh Homme involved
No,
in the making of
he's not
this.
on.
Well, in the making of this one, certainly.
Yes.
Okay, then.
Introduction.
So, Nick, what do you reckon this one's about then?
I like to
this
think we're going
track.
down a drugs route again, just based on some choice lyrics. Yeah, the mention of vitamins and potion approaching, as in it going through your bloodstream. That's the way I've always chosen to see it. Yeah. I mean, we could go down the angle of "come on the face." I'm sure that's going to get mentioned at some point.
No, I didn't think of that actually. Thanks. I agree with you that there's a drug element to this song, but I actually think it's, in my opinion, this is about realizing that you love someone or you're attracted to them a lot.
Yes.
Whilst you're on drugs. Whilst you're having a trip or something. But I interpret the person approaching differently, but we'll get to that when we get there. However, and that is, so we're more or less on the same page there. Because you can't, there's obviously an element of a woman involved.
When we're talking drugs, I don't think we're talking coke or weed here. I think we're talking acid, LSD, and ecstasy.
Mushrooms.
I think. Mushrooms.
I think mushrooms.
You're
I think tripping. He's tripping.
Yeah.
They do in the desert.
Balls.
They love to go out. It's a thing to go out to Joshua Tree and take mushrooms, isn't it? That's like a thing they do. So that's like they definitely did that, because I know that that's something that Josh Homme would get you to go and do. They drive you. I think I've read somewhere, or Alex saying that they drive you out to Joshua Tree and you sit out there and you do shrooms, and probably see some mad shit, I would imagine.
Imagine so,
but a lot of people out there, because let's give credit, there's different theories that aren't necessarily ours. A lot of people think this is about an affair or the allure of another woman. And perhaps as we go through, we'll highlight some credibility to that as we go, maybe. But that isn't, of my opinion, this is the opinion of the interweb. But so the first chunk of lyrics here, I was biting the time zone. Well, I was biting the time zone, and we embellished the banks of our bloodstreams and threw caution to the colourful. Then we fell asleep in the car. Well, first of all, set off the car alarm, please, because we got a second one.
Moment.
Okay. Not our last one.
I've been finger hovering over that for 10 minutes.
Biting the time zone, embellishing the banks of our bloodstreams certainly do sound like something that drugs would do to you.
Yeah.
Don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if you're throwing caution to the colourful, you're taking drugs. That would track, wouldn't it? If you Yeah, you're throwing cautious to like instead of saying like, "Oh, throw caution to the wind and take drugs," you're throwing caution to the colourful because the drugs are going to make you see
Yeah.
shit or whatever. That
Letting
kind
it
of
open you up and all that, yeah.
tracks. But biting I was trying to kind
Well,
of get
it's
I was trying to get you'd be biting something. I was trying to get a handle on what biting what biting the time zone actually means. You don't get the bloodstreams mixed in that now. I was biting the time zone means. I know it sounds like a drug reference,
losing
but
track of time and that sort of thing, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
biting it as
yeah.
well, and it's because you kind of
playing with
you're
the
biting
boundaries
it,
of
you're
time and
chomping at the bit.
space.
Yeah, yeah, but and also I guess drugs can make your mouth a bit
There's a bit of gurning and chewing going on.
a bit gooning.
Wouldn't know, Dan.
Back
Wouldn't know. I'm a good boy.
So have I been 6 weeks. Wait till tomorrow. And we embellish the banks of our bloodstreams. I guess embellished, make more of, make bigger, flesh out. So I guess drugs flesh out the banks of your bloodstreams, don't they? I guess is what he's getting out there. I would assume, but getting hard would also do that. Just to throw something out to the sex crowd and the fair crowd.
Throw something out to the sex crowd. If I did what I do on the other pod on here, where I pick an episode title from some no context comment that's been said, that would be the title of this episode.
Throw
something out for the sex crowd.
Well, if it was about an affair and having sex and biting the time zone, could work for that. Bloodstreams, your cock could work for that. Caution to the couple, and then we fell asleep in the car. I mean, what do you generally do after you have sex?
Yeah, speak for yourself, Dan.
I don't think so, but
I'm up and ready for another go.
Yeah, shame there's no takers for either go, isn't there? I mean,
it's funny
because he's proud about. I'm nothing to be proud about a double wank, Nick. I mean, again, this song could just be about being tired of falling asleep. That really couldn't it? Because if you bite in the time zone, it might mean that you're tired, like you're all out of sorts, bit of jet lag. I don't know, but I don't think that is the case. Just throwing that out there. So yeah, I reckon that is a drug reference. That is a kind of drug trip reference. That first verse, and then this is where maybe we get a bit more of the love stuff. So. Until the bumps woke me up in your grip and the tide took me to your mouth. What a great line. And then swept me back down to your palms. It's them that put me inside the reminder that yours is the only ocean that I want to swing from. Yours is the only ocean that I want to hang on. So basically a cool way of saying I woke up, we kissed and held hands, and it reminded me of how much I want you and I love you. Basically, that's
yours is the only ocean I want to swing from. Is the most romantic thing. I wrote that in my ex's Valentine's card one year.
I can't figure out if it's romantic or it's horn doggy.
They're both, I think.
They're both. I just think because of the way he's singing it and the way the song doesn't suggest romance. The song suggests stone sex, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Lust.
Yeah, but still, it's like without the
out of context, it's a romantic line. Yeah. Out of context, yeah, very much so. But then you also wrote in another Valentine's card, I saw your sister in the. I got off with your sister in the local pub, love.
Yes, you can tell me anything you like.
Yeah, no, but perhaps, yeah. So that's just a cut. So basically, he's taken the drugs, he fell asleep, woken up, they've had a kiss, held hands, or whatever. Or had a bit of touchy-feely stuff, who knows, with the palms. And then the kiss and that has reminded him that yours is the only ocean I want to swim in. I think swing from. So yeah, romantic or sexy, either way. Perhaps in a trip, though, the reason why it's put in this way is because he's in a trip. So that feeling or emotion or act in a trip might materialize as a swinging from an ocean. Like he might be tripping his bollocks off while he's doing it, so could be the case.
I'd have loved a psychedelic animated video for this song. with all the, you know,
Yeah,
like
it's
they got
another one that
the
would have
Do
been
I
a good
Wanna
single,
Know
wouldn't it?
with the sound wave, like something like that.
Yeah, you
but
could have had like
bit
a,
more to
a
it.
sort of a graphic of a woman and then going into the mouth and then swinging
Yeah,
into the mouth and
yeah.
then falling into an ocean. Yeah, you could have had all that. It would have been great.
And animators out there, get on
Yes,
that, please.
we get the AI program on it. But I've got this ego mechanic. Amazing
Ego
metaphor.
Yeah.
Amazing metaphor. Amazing line. Amazing concept. Actually, like she fixes up my ego. She makes me feel better. Makes me more confident when I'm down. So she's my ego mechanic. What a line! What an absolute line. I mean, there's nothing really to say to it. It's obvious what it means, but it's just a great way of putting it.
So cool.
This is
It's so cool. This is what reinforces the thing of
yeah.
this being the coolest song on the album and the coolest song so far. It's just
The lyrics do add to
so
that,
cool.
doesn't it? The coolness.
Oh, it's not.
Also,
it's one of them. It's one of them lyrics where you almost hate him for coming up with it because you're just like, oh, wish I could have come up with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those obvious but not obvious things, isn't it? But usually the best things are like you thought, well, that's so obvious an idea. But you think, well, you have to be great to come up with the obvious idea. But that I think it's that kind of thing again that I was talking about way back in episode 1 that I said we'd start to get a bit of an humbug and then get in Tuck It and See and get in AM as well. Is that taking something that another songwriter might say and he takes it and twists it and turns it into something like a really cool metaphor. And this is it. Like another, might say she makes me feel better. She fixes my ego. She's my but my ego mechanic is just like, wow, what a way to put it. Question.
That's what makes me laugh when people like Noel
this.
Gallagher like to slag. I mean, Noel Gallagher likes to slag everyone off, but in particular when Noel Gallagher slags off,
he'll be on Last Dinner Party soon.
It's like you could never come up with anything. Like, oh yeah, it will be. It's like you could never come up with
a bet on that.
Even at your best songwriting point, Noel, like mid-90s, you could never come up with anything just as perfect as that.
Hey Dan, do you like listening to popular songs with questionable lyrics?
You know I bloody do. And Nick, do you like drinking copious amounts of alcohol?
Nah, do I ever? Actually a worry.
Well, if you're the same as us, then come listen to a weekly podcast, Liquor and Lyrics, where we take apart popular music's worst songwriting whilst drinking our favourite drinks, which kind of stay in theme with the song.
From Gin and Tonic to Grease Lightning.
Cosmopolitans with Chaz and Dave.
Blue Lagoons with Busted.
Sex on the Beach with Sex on Fire.
Shirley Temples with Shaggy.
And even a shandy with Sharon.
Dropping on Tuesday the 19th of September and every Tuesday after on your favourite podcast platform.
I don't think lyrically Oasis were ever very good, to be honest. Maybe a bit.
No, a lot of it was down
like
to Liam's
just
performance, yeah.
Yeah, and the music being good, obviously, like catchy.
In fact,
but I don't think anyone goes,
all my
amazing
favourite Oasis lyrics. All my favourite Oasis lyrics are on the slower melodic songs, like the B-sides and stuff like that, rather than. But even then, there's nothing that I enjoy as much as I enjoy Alex's lyrics.
Although I said this once in the company of an Oasis mega fan, and he went nuts at me and tried to explain to me that She's Electric. I was making fun of the lines in that, and he tried to point out to me that it's actually like she's on the palm of her hands. A blister is a drug reference, apparently, to drug addicts having blisters on their hands and that. So
it's about the only thing from Oasis that isn't a drug reference.
But yeah, quick question: does this count on our collection of 2 so far? Because we haven't gone back and done the others yet. But for this album, does this count as a car alarm? Is this a car reference? Because let me ask you this: do mechanics fix anything else? Motorbikes, yes, but are we counting motorbikes in the car family? That's the question. They don't fix boats or anything. They fix only land vehicles, right? So cars and bikes. So would we class a mechanic as a... First thing you think of when you think mechanic is... I say mechanic, you think... Yeah, bikes. So does that count as a car reference? Would we put it this way? Would we... Does it have to be a direct car reference? or because how strict are we going to be? So, if he mentioned a garage in a song, would we give it for that?
No, I always
If he
assumed
mentions
it'd
an
be
if he
just
mentions an
mentions
engine,
of cars.
because we get because he mentioned racing stripes. He doesn't say car, and we gave it for racing stripes. Is my question.
Right, you can have it then. I'll break out the car alarm.
Because it's because what we are.
We need to
I think it's got to be
collate all-
anything.
I need to go back to all the old
alludes
episodes
to
and find them as well.
Oh, we're gonna have definitely gonna have a wrap episode about that, or at least a segment on the wrap episode of doing that. The car, almost certainly the car. Yeah, I think it's got to be something that invokes a car imagery. Car imagery
fair
is what we're looking for. We're not looking for cars. Car imagery. So if he says engine, or he says exhaust pipe or something, or then it's got to be one. Because otherwise, the third car reference in the song won't count if we're being too strict. But I think it does count. But you'll know what I'm sure you all know what that is. But yeah, great. That's another one. Another car. So 2 car references in this song so far. Next line. She's always trying to give me vitamins. Now, what's interesting here is I see vitamins as a metaphor for the boost in his ego, or drugs, or both. Yeah, maybe both.
Or.
Maybe the drugs. Yeah. I think given the line before, the ego mechanic, it would imply that she's boosting the vitamins boost his ego, but then the vitamins could also be drugs that boost him. So does it imply this woman is giving him drugs then? That he's in love with and that they're doing the drugs together or something?
Again, he's just writing about my kind of woman. Once again. You've done it again, Alex.
Right, we have a bit of a finger in it now to discuss a little bit. Brace yourself. So, and let me get it out before you jump in.
I know where you're going with this. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, but we'll definitely be on the same side. There's not going to be any contention between us. It's just an interesting debate that I want to pose, but we'll definitely be in agreement. So the album vinyl sleeve that I have here in front of me, as I was dictating this to write it down, and I wrote this line down, and I thought, hang on. So I listened to the song. It says, she'd be frightened of your reflection. Now, when you listen to the song, I think he quite clearly, without any kind of contention or argument, says, I should be frightened of your reflection.
Well,
that's what he says.
That bit is right at the start of the live clip that we played at the start of the episode. Should we play it again up until that point?
Oh, okay. Yeah, go on then.
And see what he sings. I'll just have to drop it back in because
what if he changes it live? Then we're going to be in the shit out.
Well, that's it. That's what I'm worried about. I'm just uploading it back in because I delete the videos as I've used them. If it's to make so I don't get all confused in my brain. Right. So yeah, it's quite early on at the start of the video, so we will have a look now when it's uploaded and see what. Cause I didn't pick up on it first time, but I knew we were going to have this discussion because looking through different lyric sites, I noticed it said
Spotify is I should, right. By the way. To clarify, Spotify is I should.
Is it?
Yes, Spotify is I should, but the lyrics, the lyric vinyl, the vinyl sleeve anyway. I can't speak for the others, but is she'd be frightened. But I would imagine the vinyl sleeve is just a blown up version of what's in the album, so it's probably the same in the CD as well. I would imagine. I think Domino remaking ones. Okay.
Let's see what the verdict is after we hear the man himself.
I've got this ego mechanic. She's always trying to give me vitamins. Oh, she'd be frightened of your reflection. I prefer it as a cartoon.
This has been Don't Believe the Hype. We're off.
Oh.
We're off. That's
okay.
That
well, this actually.
She'd.
Definitely she'd, but it's definitely I should on the song. Let's make that clear. I believe both to be true. There's no way he doesn't say I should on the song because he says I should.
Well,
but here I had a theory for this
at the end of that clip. At the end of that clip, he sings, "Would you like me to build us a go-kart?" When the actual lyric is, "Would you like me to build you a go-kart?" Is it?
Well, Nick,
anyway, he changes it. Yeah.
all of this is leading into the internet theory, actually. So this is going to be an interesting discussion because
lovely.
because okay, so here's my theory of why sometimes when you say the lyrics are wrong in the album sleeve, which quite obviously sometimes they are, or different. And as we've heard from the man himself on John Kennedy, he can't even remember what song titles were and stuff when they get put in there. So what I think happens personally is I think that when they're recording the album, I could be wrong here, this is just a theory. When they're recording the album, as they're doing bits and changing it, and he might have changed it to I Should at some point during that recording process. But then at the end of the recording process, when the album's out there, Domino or whatever might ask him to submit his lyrics to them from the lyrics that he wrote so they can create these booklets and stuff. And if he hands them the papers that he originally wrote that said, she'd be frightened of your reflection on it. But then as the recording went, he changed it to I should, then that's why there's discrepancies perhaps, because they go off his original transcripts or whatever that he jotted down, which is why then sometimes live, maybe he changes it because he thinks the lyrics are that on there as well. It's my theory. But
Well,
here's
what
the
we can
thing.
do if you want to
I mean,
contest that
both are
theory,
true, I think.
we could see what he sung when they played it last year, because I have that ready right now.
Go on then. Did you have it ready right now?
No, I got
was
it
that a
ready
lie?
literally as we were doing it.
Was that a lie? Well, while it's
That was definitely I Should. So,
but also at the
that
same
was
time, it
I
doesn't make sense what he says there because he doesn't say I should
he changes it to
be frightened of
you.
your reflection. He
written
said
in
I
it.
should have. Yeah, so very strange. But okay, so here's the thing. So let's just say for the first part of the discussion, he says I should, which is what he says on the track. I still believe that's what he says on the track.
Yeah,
clearly.
absolutely.
He's that would mean if he says I and she's amazing, but it's intimidating, and he should be scared of seeing her reflection because of how great she is. Now, the internet theory that this is about Alex having a girlfriend, but being having the allure of another girl teasing him is backed up by this, because if he said she should be frightened by your reflection, she'd be frightened of your reflection, then that would imply that he's talking about his girlfriend should be frightened by the reflection of this girl because she's so amazing, she should be threatened by her existence in his life. That gives a little bit of credence to that. So yeah, interesting. If he originally wrote it as that, then maybe he did that but changed it or something. It's interesting because the next line is I preferred her as a cartoon. So a childlike image, basic.
Yeah, when she wasn't real, it's more built, in his head rather than made.
That's what I thought. Is it someone he's liked from afar, but he's now meeting and he's almost scared by her? So he preferred her when she was just an image in his head, when she was a cartoon that he didn't actually know. But now she's in his life, he's actually scared that he might cheat. Perhaps this adds extra credence to the affair thing as well, doesn't it? Because, or is she a figment of his imagination entirely from the trip? Who knows? That's what the cartoon reference is. But also, if it is if his line before that is I, then the context could be because he finds her so intimidating. He imagines her as a cartoon because that way he can find her less intimidating because it's like a childlike image. So yeah, now we have potentially one of the finest lyrics ever put down on page, I would say.
Yeah, we do indeed.
If I could be someone else for a week, I'd still spend it chasing after you. I mean,
right, innit?
What? Again, this is again, yeah. I can't even. This is again that thing of, and a lesser songwriter might write, I'm going to spend my life chasing you, or I'll always want you, or whatever. And to put it in the context of, even if I was another person for a week, and that kind of, I guess, imagination wise opens up. Well, obviously, if you could be someone else for a week, there'd be so many things that you could do that you can't do in your own life. So but even if I like you that much, that even if I was someone else for a week, I'd still spend it chasing after you. Ugh, that is lyric perfection.
Yeah.
I think that could be in his top 5, top 10, certainly, maybe.
I think it certainly
Lyrics.
is. It's always been like top 10 for me, definitely.
What a line.
Definitely.
Does that sound like something you talk about your girlfriend or whoever you're with? Or is I mean, again, it's either someone he uses the word chasing specifically.
Chasing suggests there's an element of unobtainability there.
The sort of internet other woman theory is
Sucking up in
it's
it.
gaining a bit of traction because of this miss lyric thing. Yeah, I mean, what a great line. I can't even to even come up with that as a concept, and spin it
there's
around
another
like
line
that,
towards the
great.
end as well that I think furthers that theory, which we'll get to later.
I would agree. I know what you're going to say. But yeah, still, but the drugs has kind of been lost in the second verse. This is a bit like what happened with was it? There was another one on this album where the second verse kind of took. I think it might be Dangerous Animal. No, it was Secret Door. Remember when I amped up my Alexa theory in the second verse that changed it and blew your mind, as I recall. But this also doesn't paint that relationship in a good light if it is the fact that he's got the allure of another woman, even though he's got a girlfriend. Maybe those rumors of the affair were true. Let's not get into
just
all
Miles
that.
Kane who was a rascal.
That was another one. I remember the only time I ever heard of the rumor that Alex had an affair on Alexa was that someone had printed in a forum that they were in a restaurant and they overheard Alexa crying, telling her friend how he'd met another woman and had run off with her, whatever. And I was thinking, that's a very tenuous evidence, isn't it? Random internet forum person in a restaurant. That's all you've got to go on. Then I probably need more evidence. I don't think it would make it to court. I'll be honest.
The words of Monkeys fan 63 off the forum. It must be spot on.
Although I'll be quite honest with you, the quite swift and clearly sexually driven relationship of Ariel Vandenberg did feel like there was a slight crossover somewhere, but let's not try and figure out the times on that. That's not what we're here for. Although she is basically, I always assume. Do you think she feels like one of the greatest albums ever made is about someone being horny for her, basically?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? But then again,
because that's basically what AM is, I assume.
Yeah, but if it comes on while she's with Will Arnett, it's gonna be awkward, isn't it? If it comes on shuffle.
Having said that, though, Suck It and See is potentially about her as well, a lot of it. So I don't know at what point they started dating during that process or whether he was single at that point, but there's a lot of love songs there, aren't there? I'm not too sure. Breakup song as well, though. I don't know. Maybe we don't normally get into all that, but with specific songs and lyrics, it might be interesting to try and look at the timeline of events that we can. But yeah, without going too in depth about it, but it is relatively interesting. It's relatively interesting to inform the lyrics, I suppose. But I do always picture Ariel Vandenberg whenever I hear knee socks. That's just where my brain goes, to be honest with you. Maybe that's more me issue.
No, I am now. Yeah. Yeah. Right up above the knee. Whoa. Go on, carry on.
You had to make it crude. But yeah, great lyric. One of his best. Only to myself. One of his best lyrics.
You drew the outline. I coloured it in.
Outstanding lyric, Nick. That, but also on the cooler meter, this is one of the lines that makes this song on the 10 out of 10 on the cooler meter, doesn't it? In fact, higher than that, it would be going. If it was one of those things that you hit at the fair, it would be like off into space. The coolness of the song, and it's that lyric
everywhere.
Yeah,
12 people in casualty with burns.
Yep. She's not shattering my attitude, no matter how she folds the potion. So no matter what she gives him, she's not going to break his attitude. Meaning that this is one of the harder lines for me to kind of assess. I assume he means no matter how hard she. Because here's the thing. You said at the start that you felt like the potion approaching was the drug element of it. I had always, because the song kind of shifts into being about a woman in the second verse, I'd always felt like the potion approaching was her allure.
Yeah.
So
But
the
this
potion
thing,
approaching is
again,
her
that
sex
switch halfway
appeal.
through that
Let's say.
changes everything.
Yeah, it makes the whole thing change where you can't really define it as a drug song, and you can't really. It's kind of a bit like what's going to happen with Black Treacle, where sometimes I think, oh yeah, it's obviously about drugs, but then other lines I go, wait, I'm not quite sure how does that work. So yeah, I don't know.
I forgot about Black Treacle. Oh no!
More on that next
Where's
season.
the treat there?
but the so it could be either really, but in the context of it being a drug, he would be saying that she's not gonna change his attitude or his mood no matter how many drugs she creates. But if it is her allure, then maybe his attitude is, no, I've got a girlfriend, or I'm not interested, but no matter how she folds the potion, no matter how much she turns it on, let's say, perhaps, if the internet affair thing, which, I mean, it doesn't have to be affair, it could just be a sexy woman that he's attracted to, if it's a character rather than himself being in a relationship. So it's the sheed reflection bit that kind of throws the affair element in, isn't it? But yeah, she's not shouting it. But either way, whatever his attitude is, she's not affecting it no matter what she does, basically, he's saying there. So then we get potion approaching, visualize, holding a token, swollen in size. I mean,
you don't help yourself, Alex.
if he's saying he didn't think my propeller won't get started on it, saying it wasn't sexual, then how the hell could he
you
say
know who
this
he is,
one
don't
isn't?
you? He's Tobias from Arrested Development. At this point, just not realizing how mucky everything sounds.
Is there not a better way to say that?
Just record yourself.
Okay,
just for a day.
Let's not assume that the potion approaching is her sexuality, and he's visualizing her. Oh, that would also imply that this woman could be fictional, by the way, from his drug trip, because potion approaching is her sexy allure, and he's visualizing it, and she's holding his knob, and it's getting hard, to just be blunt about that. But if it wasn't, if that line isn't
another
sexual,
one out for the sex crowd.
Someone's got to. But what would that mean if it wasn't sexual? A spliff, swollen.
It's tenuous, but an LSD tab or something. In terms, because that's
swells on his tongue.
Shield your eyes also fits with that, because the lights become a lot more vivid to you when you do LSD or acid. So I'm told.
So the token when you put the I can honestly say I've never done a what's the word, a trippy drug ever.
No,
so I actually don't know. I'm too scared. I'm too scared of what I'll see. There's too much darkness in here. There's too much darkness for me to let it out. Yeah, God knows what happens if I let it out in that way. Bloody hell. I'm terrified of that.
Oh, Nick, it's great. You should try it, Nick. All your deepest thoughts come out. Oh well, that's a no from me then. Thanks.
Yeah, in a room.
I want to find out how I killed that kid.
Literally putting me in a room trapped inside my own head for 8 hours is possibly the definition of hell. Although I've always been trying DMT.
Bad enough.
DMT is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because you only do the trip for half an hour, but it feels like a longer to you, I think. But it's half an hour, so interesting. And a lot of people have a shared experience of these, which actually scares me a bit. I won't get into it. There's a Joe Rogan episode on it if anyone wants to. But basically, a lot of people have a shared trip that they're sort of like machines and people working and shit. And I'm like, oh God, where are we going when we die? What's that letting us see? I take it all back. That'll be good.
When we used to work together,
don't make me work the machines.
You came into work one morning look an absolute state.
Yes, I
It
do,
turned out
Nick.
you'd had a dream that you were working on a farm or something.
No. This was the one trip. My friend had bought some pills off the internet, and we took them. Which, looking back now, was a very silly thing to do. Really,
Yeah.
they were huge. They were like this big. I don't know what they were.
Buy 'em off the
Just
side
decided
of a
to take
car.
them because I was a fucking idiot. Like, just take some shit off the internet and let's hope we don't die. And I remember I went to sleep and I had this really intense dream that I was digging and working a field all night. And when I woke up, my body was absolutely aching and I was drained and knackered all day, like I'd been working in a field all night. And it was one of the strangest experiences of my life. Could have had a nice trip where I was just shagging all night. I was single at the time. That would have been nice. No, I was working in a field. That was good, wasn't it? If I'd come in the next day and I'd gone, I took this pill last night and knobs red raw, you would have been like, oh.
Hello. Tell us everything. Tell me more.
Speaking of knobs red raw, what do you reckon swollen in size is sexual, or do you reckon it could easily be drugged? But he knows what he's doing there. I'm not having that he doesn't know he's doing in this one. I'll let my propeller slide because as we discussed, but holding a token swollen in size. I mean, but does drugs swell in size? Does an LSD thing swell in your mouth or something? What drug swells in size as you take it? I can't really think of a drug swelling in size. I've never. A tab would disintegrate, right? I imagine dissolve into your tongue. It wouldn't get bigger, would it?
The same
What
with
would
the
be-
pill as
oh,
well,
unless could the swollen in size be your eyes? The token being a spliff, holding a token
that's the
swollen
only
in size. I
way,
don't know.
if it-
Shield your
I
eyes.
think we're beyond spliffs
Yeah,
with this. I think we can rule out.
I think
spliffs.
so too.
I
But
think we're going a lot harder.
I'm just trying to.
But yeah, the swollen in size could be. In fact,
But
given that he's already sang "Shield Your Eyes" 2 lines before, then swollen in size could be referring to the eyes. I think we may have it there. The eyes have it. The eyes have
could
it.
be. Yeah, let's have it. But also, shield your eyes. Yeah, it's after swollen in size, right?
It's also before. It's also 2 lines. It's 2 lines before and 1 line after.
Yes. Sorry, I don't put the repeats in. The thing is, if it's okay, he come back to the woman and the affair idea thing because if the person approaching is her alert and he's visualizing her and he's, for lack of a better term, knobs getting harder, he might also be saying shield your eyes because don't look at her, you can't look at her, she's too much. So I don't know really, but the last bit is, if we're going to escape though, we really ought to think it through. Would you like me to build you a go-kart? I mean, the use of the word escape does imply an escape from something, like a couple running away together, a bit Secret Door-esque. What else would that mean in terms of the drugs? Escaping the trip? Like, escaping the trip, building the trip or whatever to get out of the trip. That seems tenuous.
Yeah, because
but if we're going to escape, though,
because we're already clearly on the trip, so.
If we're going to escape, though, we really ought to think it through. Would you like me to build you a go-kart? Perhaps using like childlike imagery again to highlight maybe how childish it is to want to run away with another person. I don't know, but that because of this sheed business and because of this affair business, there are certain points of the song. I'd say the only real obvious drug references is the opening 4 lines, really, apart from maybe the breakdown, but yeah, I don't know. I am sort of starting to lean towards this woman's allure and potential affair because of escape and she'd be frightened of your reflection. But also, what if? Okay. What if, Nick? Little hot off the press. This. What if the other woman is a metaphor for the drugs? So when he says she'd be frightened of your reflection, he's saying that his partner would be like him on drugs. He's a bit different or whatever, or he's doing a lot of drugs. So so when he says the woman spoke me up in your grip, that could be the grip of the drugs. Tied up me to your mouth and down to your palms could be like making it like a woman. The drugs, the trip. Yours is the only ocean I want to swing from could be the enjoyment of the drug as well. Ego mechanic could be the drugs. She's always trying to give me vitamins if the drug is a woman in this song. I kind of like that, actually, that maybe it's all of those things, but he's using a woman as a metaphor for the experience of being on a trip.
That works. That works as well.
The trip is the woman. But I don't really know
This
if
is
we're
what
going to
wanted
escape,
get
though.
to,
We really
yeah.
ought to think it through. Would you like me to build you a go-kart is necessarily?
I think it's just the
In
type
terms
of
of that.
gibberish you'll come up with when you're off your tits. And it's kind of signifying that. That's the best way around it.
Maybe. So it's either, in conclusion, we don't know. If you were to say, is this song entirely about drugs? The 4 options are,
No.
is this song
not
about
entirely.
drugs? Is this song about a sexy woman entirely? No. Is this song about doing drugs with a sexy woman? Maybe. Is this song about an affair? Maybe. Potentially. Is this song using a woman as a metaphor, a sexy woman as a metaphor for drugs? Maybe. So maybe much like we
I'd
did
say
with,
somewhere between 3, 4, and 5 there.
I think
somewhere
some
in between
we
them
did.
three.
Wasn't the one like, I think it was one of the first 3 that we did. We fell on kind of it being all of the above and whatever you want it to be, and make your own mind up kind of thing, wasn't it? I think that's where this falls as well. I think that was the case for, it wasn't Crying Lightning, was it? It was I think it was was it Marpella? It was one of them anyway.
Yeah.
We just kind of said, it's up to you.
This is exactly why we were so excited to get to this series and onto this album, because we knew there'd be a lot of this, like where it was open to interpretation.
Yeah,
there's not as much hand holding as there is early on.
No, and as much as I like it when we do, like with Secret Door, I feel like we came to a conclusion of what that came to a conclusion in that overture. It came to a conclusion of what that was in the end. But but yeah, as much as I do like to try and figure it out, sometimes it's too opaque to really nail down what's going through his head at the time without being him. The sheed and the I change the context of the song entirely, so that's really interesting. But yeah, Nick, does go-kart count as a reference to a car?
It absolutely does, and you can have your third
I would
alarm
agree.
of the episode. Yeah. That's the wrong alarm. Lovely stuff. Well done, everyone.
Well, I guess cool. I guess that's get in touch. Let us know what you feel the one is, and if we always like to read out listener correspondence when we get it. So let us know where you fall on the song, and if you had any different theories as well. But Nick, it's that time where we have a little dip into the daydreams of John Kennedy.
This is indeed. Let's. Got a bit quirky there.
You never get John Kennedy
yes,
burping on air.
That wasn't a burp, it was me clearing my throat, but thanks. Thanks for ruining the mystique.
A little both.
I don't know why
Too much to discuss over a broken ball.
Ocean approaching. Arctic Monkeys on Exposure XFM from the brand new album Humbug, out this week. Getting the Exposure album playback treatment tonight. I'm John Kennedy. With me are Matt Helders and Alex Turner from the band. It's another Desert Sessions one.
End of the side.
Yeah, about to flip it over.
So this is side 2. No.
Well, just after this.
So we're almost at the end of the first side.
Click in a minute.
There seems to be all sorts in this. I mean, it's kind of post-punky. Kind of reminds me of I don't know, things like Delta 5 or something. And then there's a kind of Stonesy backing vocal in there.
Yeah.
Almost.
We were almost like, I think we were like playing Nirvana Bleach like a bit while we were like recording. This tune. I think maybe a bit of that in the verses maybe, and I think. Or Doors, like the Strange Days album, a little bit maybe.
Right.
Been said about like that kind of the drop down. We all did we did it.
Well, yeah.
It's some
A
good
communal clapping.
Communal
We all
clapping.
sat in a circle and clapped. It was strange.
It
looked strange.
pretty,
if you saw
it's
it.
pretty far out.
Yeah, it's mad.
And that was in the house. That was
Not
in.
an applause. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sat
Excellent.
there.
I've just got this mental picture of you all out in the desert. It's night,
I know.
and you're all
We did
sitting
do
around.
like a bit of
clapping.
recording by the
Did some
fire
vocals.
outside. Yeah.
Did some vocals in the fire. Next
There
to
was
the fire.
talk of getting on the roof to do a vocal But I don't know if that was just figuratively speaking, because I never actually climbed a ladder. But I don't know, it was just never mentioned again. So maybe Josh said we were on the roof.
We're on the roof, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. So is it a flat roof?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to get it. You're going to hang a 57.
Mic stand on that.
And potion approaching, there's some nice little phrases in there. Ego mechanic, do you say ego mechanic?
I do, yeah.
I like that one.
Do you like that one?
Yeah, I do, yeah. And
I
just thought it was great.
Yeah, nice
looking
one.
through yellow pages.
Yeah.
What are you looking for? I'm looking for an ego mechanic.
I'm looking for an ego mechanic, yeah. They're out there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Under E.
Yeah.
Too much to discuss over a bucket of balls.
I just reclined listening to that then. I always
I like his,
listening to that.
When John says about the ego mechanic and Alex goes, "You like that, did you, John?"
And normally it sounds
yeah, no.
sarcastic, but it just doesn't. He's just genuinely happy.
Yeah, no, he does. He just think he is genuinely happy. But I think interestingly, we're listening to Nirvana because we directly referenced how it sounded like Nirvana earlier, didn't we? So yeah, very interesting chat that. I just got a message from one of our regular listeners, Curtis Gray. Shout out to Curtis. Hello, Curtis. Hello, Curtis. Because literally as we were watching that, he said he sent me potentially a stupid question. Never a stupid question.
Never. Wow.
But did you? Well, yeah. So, did you know this was a thing? And he sent me Vertigo, the Mini Manchester single, which features Alex. And I said, yeah, I remember when this came out. I absolutely rinsed that when it was out. I think circa 2015 or something like that. I just played it all the time. I still do now. Like, Alex's bit in that especially is perfection. Just the way he comes in. And the video as well. Have you seen the video? The way, yeah.
I've seen the video. And there's a live version of him doing it.
Yeah,
that French TV
it's
show.
in LA, I
where
think,
he just walks out and everyone goes nuts. I think it's in France. I think it's on that French show where they play a full album.
There's actually like a live, not
Yes, I've
proper
seen that as
recorded
well,
version in LA where he comes on. Yeah, what an absolute tune that is. I love that song. If you haven't heard it, Mini Mansions. Obviously, Mini Mansions, Sky, Last Shadow Puppets.
Tyler Parkford
Isn't it?
is in Last Shadow Puppets and Arctic's now.
Yeah,
and the drummer and bass player were both with Last Shadow Puppets as well. I always for a long time.
That's got a great Alex line, by the way. She's missed it. She's missed been there, done there.
Stick shift. Oh god.
Stick shift.
The bit where he does the undercover. That was like one of my favourite Alex moments ever. Until what was it that came and overtook it? It was the gasp in Sculptures.
Yeah,
that overtook it. Then
I think we definitely need to somehow figure out a segment for so we can use the jingle. Run for cover. Oh, that could have been the covers band one. Maybe next series we'll change it up to that instead for the covers band bit. It'll be just
yeah.
But anyway,
I think
lovely little bit that. Do you want to? Oh, he also just messaged me back saying, also love the dinner party are getting mentioned in the pre-show chat. Just telling us what a superb job we're doing in the pre-show chat there. Everyone get on board. Just got tickets for their show in Manchester this evening. Oh, yeah, I saw that. It's ages away though, isn't it? So yeah, I'll figure it out.
And it's Victoria Warehouse, which I refuse. I'm never going back there again. I hate that place. Hate it with a passion.
I was at a drug raid there once.
Or
Christmas do, as it was called.
Pay £45 to see a band you love and have to watch it on the screens at the bar because they've oversold it again. That should be the slogan for Victoria Warehouse. I'm not bitter.
Lovely. Shall we do the shipping forecast, Nick?
Yes, let's do it.
Listen to the shipping forecast.
So a little bit of a Valentine's special because we're recording this the day after Valentine's Day. And we've got a lovely picture of Katie Cook close up with a picture of Jamie in his underpants behind her. The shirt, which is quite amusing.
Who said romance is dead?
Yes. He looked like he found it quite amusing that she was getting a sneaky pic on there. And then Louise shared the picture that she shared on Alex's birthday again that Helders took, the beautiful picture of them both in a boat, which was fantastic. But the winners of the Chicken Forecast, as ever, is probably Miss Amanda Blank and Matthew J. Helders III. Well, she shared a picture of him laughing while holding up a napkin to shield. Oh, no, sorry. He's got a light on his phone in front of a napkin to create a light, sort of like a studio light for her while she does her makeup on her phone. Yeah, I was a photographer. I was a romantic. She put, "You're the greatest Valentine a girl could ask for. Your love every day and this beautiful life you've given us is the real gift. And making sure I'm always well lit, of course. My man, you really ride for me. I love you." Well, they're cool. They had want to hang out with them. We had this chat last night because that's how sad we are. But we'd really like, on Valentine's night, we're having this chat. And I'd love to hang out with them as a couple. The most, I think. Could have a right laugh, I reckon. Yeah, both good music, I reckon, as well. I was thinking about this the other day for some reason. I was thinking, I bet Helders has got a good dance in him. I bet Helders can dance. I don't know why. I just thinking about it. Yeah, I don't know
Ballroom
why.
or
Just so
more
I can move those
freestyle?
hips. I reckon ballroom when required, but freestyle most of the time.
Matthew Ballroom when required. J. Helders III.
Your favorite lyric, Nick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Too busy with the mind on clever lines.
I mean, there's two.
I've got one, and I've got one, and it can be the other. Although I agree that the other one that you're thinking is great, it has to be. If I could be someone else for a week, I'd still spend it chasing after you. Like, it's one of the greatest lyrics put to page, so I can't really. Yeah, but I imagine the other one you were toying with was Ego Mechanic. I would imagine was the other one.
Well, it's nowhere near that.
As good as it. That's amazing that something as good as the concept of an ego mechanic still doesn't win the best lyric in this song. Like, that's amazing.
It's still a bit moribund in comparison.
Yeah, it's been cock-blocked by "If I could be somewhere else for a week, I'd still be chasing it after you." It's been cuckolded even by it. Yeah,
well and truly cooked. Just like I would happily.
The metaphorical black man of this. I thought you were just going to say. I thought you were just going to end it as I would happily be. That was going to be the end of that sentence. If anyone's wondering, if anyone wants to get in a relationship with me, I'm happy to be cooked at this point. I will let you cheat on me, and that's okay. I'm just happy to be in a relationship, some form of human contact. Do you want to say your favorite musical moment?
Bad sounds in your ears that make you get up and down.
I think if we're saying a moment, well, if it's a moment, it's definitely the but only with the other guitar coming in as well at the end.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite moment. But if it was for the whole song, I think the lead guitar wins the song probably overall.
Yes.
If I had to put a pin on it.
Completely fair.
Oh, we've arrived at your hot take that you've been banging on about for the better part of an hour.
The one that kept me up at like 3 o'clock this morning, and then I promptly forgot until an hour before we did the show. Yeah, it's hot take time.
She picks a red hot revelation off the tip of her toe.
Genuinely, after like 4 days straight of ingesting this song and listening to it, about 3 o'clock this morning, I was just about to finally drift off to sleep, and then bang, it hit me, and then I was up till like 4:30. So
yep, been there, my man.
If whatever people say that's what I'm not is Alex's album. Favorite worst nightmare. Is Helders, I'd say.
Yeah,
I think it's fair to say. That's why he's proper showcasing something. You're wondering where I'm going with this? AM, Mr. Nick O'Malley. Fat bass lines on that album. Juicy.
Okay, if we're going musically, yeah. But I mean, Alex's raw sex appeal is all over the album. But yeah, other than that, it's the sexiest any man's ever been, I think, during that time. But yeah. I don't wank over him.
The bass is.
Sorry. Yeah, the bass is probably the winner.
We'll
of the
see
music.
you next week. So I would go as far as to say that musically this is Jamie Cook's album.
Yeah, I would go with that, and and I think the reason for that is Queens of the Stone Age based, because he was always the Queens of the Stone Age,
Thank you.
rock, Black Sabbath, stuff like that. He was that. He was the go to that, and also we've heard it in the John Kennedy, haven't we? He's the one that's saving songs. Couldn't finish the song. He goes off, did whatever with some pink dust, came back, and had 2 songs. Remember, he had Dangerous Animals. No, he had Secret Door sound as well when he came back and sorted that, and Dangerous Animals, didn't he, as well, and Crying Lightning as well. So yeah, I think I would agree that
He's
this
really
is Jamie Cook's album, which
blossoming.
is probably
Jamie is.
yes, to a fine young man. I reckon but that would you say that Alex has 3 albums then?
Yeah,
because
Oh,
I would
absolutely,
say
yeah.
I would say that Suck It and See is Alex's album,
Yeah.
and I would say that Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino is Alex's album, and I would say that The Car doesn't belong to anyone. I think that's the first, and maybe that's a secret. That's the first album where that's the band's album.
Oh yes. Oh, I'm glad I killed this hot take now. That's just sealed it nicely.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would go with that.
brilliant.
Although there is some really good drums in this album, but like you say, not. If you were going to think of where you first thought, "Wow, Helders is incredible," Favorite Worst Nightmare would be the one where it struck you for the first time. This is Give the Guitar on this, yeah. Jamie Cook specials. We haven't even heard half of them yet, or we've heard exactly half of them. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Not to say that everyone else people don't take this the wrong way. We're not saying everyone else underperformed on these albums. They're absolutely fantastic. As we just said, Alex, one of the lyrics we just said is one of his best. But the only one is AM's difficult.
Red Dust.
You know what? I think AM might also be a band album though, because I mean, yes, Nick O'Malley's bass line's great, but then you've got amazing guitar, you've got sexy Alex and great lyrics. You've got great guitar. You've got great drumming on a lot of it as well. So I think AM and The Car are the band's albums, whereas for all the others, you can probably pick a person assigned to it.
Well, we need to get Mr. Nick O'Malley an album then, don't we?
But I would fully agree. Some good bass lines on The Car, to be fair, but maybe Nick O'Malley doesn't need to have an album. He's just. But if you're going to I guess if you're going to pin down musically. If you're going to put down musically, then yes, I guess you would say The Car, because although it does have some great guitar riffs and drumming riffs, but he wrote the Are You Mine riff. So yes, yeah, okay, we'll give him that. We'll give him that. Yeah, and he had his glow up at that time as well. So
he bloody well did.
Well, yeah, it was good. I would give Jamie Cook this album, which is perhaps why on the album cover Jamie Cook is the one doing the pensive, thoughtful look down.
The thinker
of the band. Yes,
Helders
the thinking man's.
sneezing.
I've always said he's the thinking man's Sunday League player.
Yeah. Right. It's that time of the show where Dan has enlisted AI to write the description for the next episode.
Oh, cat or no cat? What do you reckon? No cat last week.
I'm going to say no cat again.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for a lyrical roller coaster courtesy of the Arctic Monkeys. Today's featured attraction, Fire in the Fud, a song that's like a box of matches next to your hopes of not getting stolen by a welcome threatening stir. Confused? Well, you're about to be more tangled than a headphone cord in the pocket of a busy mime. And if that doesn't set the tone for an unpredictable love story, I don't know what does. Now, in this whimsical world of lyrical acrobatics, we find our protagonist questioning the excitement, packing away laughter, and wondering if burdens come to meet you like an over-enthusiastic tour guide. Does the teasing of the fire lead to a fud, or is it just a chaotic dance of emotions in the jostling crowd of love? And then there's the hiding in the soup, the revelation of faces in books, and a concentration that continually breaks like a delicate vase in a bullfight. They requested a mark, but it didn't heal fast. A metaphorical wound, or perhaps a metaphorical hickey. Your guess is as good as mine.
Hello.
So as you poke them in their prime, I'm hoping the AI is like going to get clever, and by the last one that we do, it's going to like be amazing. So as you poke them in their prying eyes with things they never see, Yeah, just creates an Arctic Monkeys album for us that we can cover to keep going. So as they poke them in their prying eyes with things they never see, remember, we're all just trying to make sense of the whimsy that is fire in the FUD. It's like trying to catch fog. You can't quite grasp it, but it's bound to leave you in a delightful haze. Enjoy the ride. No cat, you all right?
Ding,
No
I'll
cat.
take that.
No cat.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So there
Lovely
you go.
stuff. Right, we'll be back next week with the aforementioned Fire and the Thud. Don't forget to like, rate, review, share, subscribe, do all that cool stuff, and you can find everything in the episode description that you can possibly need. Say goodbye to the nice people, Dan.
Goodbye. If I
Ah.
could be someone else for a week, I'd still spend it podcasting for you.
You've done this
guys.
several times. There's no still in that lyric. I didn't want to be that guy, but just stop it.
There is. Isn't there? I specifically checked it before because I thought there wasn't a still, another discrepancy then. I'd still spend it chasing after you is what he intended, so he might do it live sometimes. I specifically checked because I thought, does he say still? And then I looked and it said still, so there you go, another mistake.
Really
If Alex don't know the lyrics, then how am I supposed to remember them? I think I'd still makes more sense. It gives more context to what he's saying, I suppose.
Yeah, if you like.
I like both, to
Yeah.
be fair. I don't mind. It doesn't really change much, does it?
No. I just wish the people printing the booklet would get it right. But you know, if he doesn't,
I don't think it's their
remember,
fault because if Alex don't remember, to be fair,
it's got to be someone to
I don't think
blame.
it's their
Dan.
fault.
Have you seen the Nuremberg trials? Someone's got to be blamed.
Blame Alex.
We need reparations. Right, we're off. Unless you're a subscriber, in which case you'll get a cheeky little bit of post-show chat. Bye.
Don't Believe the Hype is hosted and produced weekly by Nick Lee and Dan Holt. The music used in the titles is royalty-free music courtesy of Les FM. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast player of choice to be notified every Wednesday when a new episode is released. And if you want to help us out further, be sure to like and review to help make us more visible to like-minded souls. We will see you next week with more of the same.